A very good afternoon to one and all present here. Welcome to day 3 of the 7-day professional development program on IMMERGOGY 2026 Researcher Cognition and Knowledge Structures Strengthening Academic Integrity in Research. Today's online session focuses on emotional intelligence for educators and professional excellence. As we navigate the complexities of academic research and teaching, emotional intelligence is a crucial skill that can elevate our professional journey. On behalf of SRM Arts and Science College, I extend a warm welcome to our esteemed guest, Dr. Shamim S., Associate Professor, IIM Tiruchirappalli. We are truly delighted with your presence, ma'am. A warm welcome to our respected principal and vice principal. We are privileged to have their guidance and support. I would also like to welcome heads of various departments, faculty members, and all the participants to today's online session. May this session enrich your understanding and inspire you to foster academic integrity. Now, I invite Dr. J. Deepika, Assistant Professor, Department of Biotechnology, to introduce our guest speaker.
Thank you, ma'am. It is my great privilege and pleasure to introduce our esteemed chief guest for today's program, Dr. Shamim. Dr. Shamim is currently an associate professor at the Indian Institute of Management, Tiruchirappalli. With over a decade of rich academic and research experience, she has made significant contributions to the field of human resource management and organizational behavior. Prior to joining IIM Trichy, she has served as a faculty member at XLRI Jamshedpur, Great Lakes Institute of Management, and IFMR, Kriya University. She has also gained valuable industry exposure as an HR officer at National Oxygen Limited and held research positions at the Technical University of Munich, George August Universität Göttingen, and the Institute of Financial Management and Research, Chennai. Dr. Shamim holds a PhD from IIT Madras, where her research on employee customer interaction and emotional labor received the Best Thesis Award. A gold medalist in both her master's degree from Pondicherry University and her BSc from JIPMER, she has consistently demonstrated academic excellence throughout her career. An accomplished researcher, Dr. Shamim has published extensively in top tier ABDC and Scopus Q1 ranked journals. She has presented her work at renowned international conferences such as the Academy of Management, British Academy of Management, and the Australian and New Zealand Academy of Management. Her excellence has been recognized through several prestigious awards, including the Outstanding Paper Award at IIT Madras in 2023, Best Paper Award at INDAM 2013 and 2024, and the Best Research Proposal Award at the Yale Great Lakes International Conference. Beyond research, Dr. Shamim is a passionate educator who has designed and delivered courses across PGP, PGDM, executive, and doctoral programs in areas such as human resource management, industrial relations, organizational behavior, research methodology, agile HR, and workforce analytics. She has also led impactful consultancy projects, including a Tamil Nadu government funded project on MSME and a study on housing demand trends in Sriperumbudur. She is actively involved in professional networks like the Academy of Management and serves on the editorial and review board of leading HR and business journals. A DAD New Passage to India scholar at the Technical University of Munich, she continues to engage in interdisciplinary research focused on various facets of workplace behavior. Additionally, she has conducted several management development programs on strategic HR planning, agile HR, workforce analytics, and the women leadership, helping organizations strengthening their HR strategy and leadership capabilities. With her vast academic accomplishment, industry insights, and dedication to advancing knowledge in workplace behavior and HR practices, we are truly honored to have her with us today. Please join me in warmly welcoming our distinguished chief guest, Dr. Shamim ma'am. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Now it's my pleasure to request our guest speaker, Dr. Shamim S., to deliver the keynote address for today's session. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for such a wonderful introduction and a lengthy introduction of mine. So let me share the screen. I have some sliders for the topic. I'll just share the screen. Please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Okay. So I just want this particular session to be very interactive because I don't believe in a monologue delivery. So I would appreciate if you people can chat with me in the meeting group. Whatever I'm requesting, we put that as a message. So the first thing which I want to do is to thank to the management of SRM for inviting me, to the professor uh, Ravi for inviting me here, and to deliver this particular speech. And let's begin the topic. So before we begin, I would like you to type in the chat which we have here. What emotion do you experience most while teaching? You all are educators, so I'm sure you have a lot of experience of teaching as well as facing a lot of students. So I would like to know, what emotion do you experience most while teaching? Some answers, can you please type in the chat box? Or you can, I mean, if you are allowed to unmute and speak, you can please do that. Yes, excited, satisfied. I see some of the answers popping up. Some of you are saying excited, curious, yes. Responsible, yes, of course, as faculty members, we are responsible. But these are emotions. I'm asking a particular emotion. Like, do you feel happy about it, or sad, or kind of excited, or some kind of tension? So those kind of emotions you feel. Happy as we handle young minds. Yes, Mithula has said happy. Yes, excited, happy. So you're all happy faculty members. Great. So let me just get into what I want to introduce here. This was requested, like I'll have to pitch in for 45 minutes and then we will have some question and answer session, right? So teaching in itself is not an intellectual activity. Of course, we do a lot of brain activity, right? We need to prepare for the class. We need to take notes. Before the student asks the question, we need to be aware of what possible questions can be asked, right? So it is not just the intellectual activity. It's a lot of emotional work. When we say, yes, learning, sharing knowledge with a happy mindset, youngsters, so I'm sure you all are enjoying your teaching. We will also talk a little bit of challenges, if at all you face in your teaching career. So, and we will also speak about how this particular topic is related. So teaching is not just an intellectual work, it is a lot of emotional work which is involved. Because why I say that emotional work, in due course I'll be opening up some of the scenarios. I think we will be able to connect that scenario and then we will be able to talk about it. That is why, right, we explore today emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is very, very close to my heart topic. Why? I will reveal that secret at the end. How it shapes the professional excellence, right? So this is something which we are going to talk about. Therefore, the topic given to me is this: emotional intelligence for educators like us, because I also belong to the same cohort, and for professional excellence, right? Why it is important to have emotional intelligence. So this is something which we are going to discuss now. Now, this gentleman, I'm sure some of you might be aware of this person, who is called as Daniel Goleman, right? And that's one of his book, which is a bestseller. And I'm sure some of you might have read this book, and if you have not read this book, kindly go and read this book. This is kind of very good book, because we generally talk about intelligence, right? We say intelligence. Do you have intelligence? Do you have mind, right? Or if we want to scold somebody also, we will say, are you out of your mind? So intelligence is something which is very, very important for every one of us. So some of these aspects you might have studied, you might have even discussed in your own classrooms, that more than intelligent quotient, right, which is captured as IQ, emotional intelligence is important, right? EQ is important. Though we all say that, okay, I'm really good in emotions, I'm really good in handling emotions, I can do it, right? Even though we are very great in emotional intelligence, as we claim so, we fail to manage our emotions certain times. We get upset, right? We get angry, we get sad, we get depressed some of the times, where we could have handled better. So emotional intelligence is all about, if you do not have emotional abilities, right, in your hand, which means you're not self aware of your own emotions, you do not know what emotions. Many times people will say, I have a very bad day today, right? Or today is a really good day. If you ask them what exactly is making you happy, right? Are you happy, or you're overwhelmed, or you're excited, or you're surprised, right? Anything of this, can you pinpoint and say? People fail to recognize their own emotions, right? Many times you say, I don't know, I have really a bad day, my mood is bad, right? So this is how we say. But what exactly is making us bad, right? Are we sad? Are we depressed? Are we unhappy about something? We are not sure, right? So this is exactly what Daniel Goleman was saying. If you are not aware of yourself, and if you're not able to identify your emotional abilities, right, even though you are an intelligent person, it is of no use, right? Though you are bookish wise, or you're getting a lot of marks, and you're achieving a lot, and you're really seen as an intelligent, in spite, if you are not having emotional intelligence, which is you cannot handle your emotions, then even with your knowledge, you have nothing in hand, right? So that is what Daniel Goleman has said about importance of emotional intelligence. So I will just introduce you to some of his concepts through examples and real life examples and scenarios, which might be helpful to you, and you might also reflect upon it. So, the first question to you again is, have you ever responded emotionally in a faculty meeting? Like in the meeting, it can be a faculty meeting, it can be some kind of admin meeting, anything of that sort, or during a classroom session, right? Maybe a person, you might see a lot of people, right? Some of them will be sleeping, some of them will be using mobile phones, some of them will be disturbing your session, talking to others. Right? In a classroom, you will see different people like this, different students like this. And they will also, in a meeting, you will have people who like, people who hate, people who actually show they are liking you, but actually inside they are hating you. So you can see a lot of mixed people in a meeting or in a workplace, etc., right? Suppose somebody has done something to you in a meeting, right? Said something insulting or something they have asked, or in a classroom, it can be any scenario. In a classroom, some student is disturbing, right? At times we also get out of our mind and say, right, just get out of my sight, right? Go out of my class, right? So have you ever responded emotionally and then regretted, I should have handled it better? I'm sure every one of us, including me, we will have such situation. I'm just asking you, if one of you can unmute yourself and speak to me, your experience. Can I get some answers? Or would you be like comfortable putting it in the chat box? Have you ever handled such emotional situation? Yes, no. Let's not go into the details. Let's ask yes, no type. Yes or no. Yes. So all of us, right? So mostly I see yes answer. So exactly this is what we are going to see. See, even if we say, I am really mature guy, I know how to handle. At times we off the track, we go and shout at people. We get emotional, we get depressed, right? So why? What is happening? This gap in reaction and reflection is what we call as emotional intelligence, right? I know I should have not behaved that way, but I'm behaving so, right? So that makes the emotional intelligence. So these are the core skills which is required for emotional intelligence. One is self-awareness. I need to first know what kind of emotions I'm handling, right? So self-awareness is very important, as you can see in the first picture. And second thing is self-regulation. I am capable of regulating it, right? This is a practical situation. If I say emotional intelligence, etc., it's not necessary that you are doing it in a professional. The topic says educator and professional excellence. But I believe even if it is educator or in a civil servants or anybody for that matter, your emotion management also spill over to your family, right? If you do not have a proper day in your family, that will reflect on your work. Let's assume that your spouse is kind of angry with you and she has had a fighting with you, right? You will carry that with you, and the same thing, you will come there to the classroom, and in the classroom somebody is doing something. The fellow would have been doing the same behavior in all the classes. You might have just ignored or you might have just handled it, but that day you are already not in a good shape, good mood, right? Again you are saying somebody irritating you. Obviously, as human beings, we react, we reflect, right? So this is something which Daniel Goldman is saying. It is a human tendency for us to reflect, react, but how do we manage it, right? So that is the art of intelligence. So self regulation is, I know I'm angry now, but I should not show my anger, right? So that's why it is called as art of managing emotions. And then the third point is empathy, meaning I am knowing about my emotion, I am controlling and managing my emotion. Fair enough. I'm also looking at others' emotion. If somebody is coming to me and saying, like, see, I'm really not sure what's happening with me. Can you help me with this? Then you will say, okay, I understand you, right? So empathy is putting yourself in others' shoe, right? That's how they say. You put yourself in others' shoe and say, oh, this person has a problem. I need to help him. It's not just your faculty colleague, it can be your student, right? Many times we as faculty members, we need to teach, we need to give mentor, we need to give suggestion, we need to guide them, we need to scold them, right? We need to do a lot of work. So if a student is disturbed in the class, instead of saying, oh, he is disturbed, he's not listening to my class, I have prepared here, I'm kind of lecturing here, why is this person not listening, right? Instead of doing that way, is he having any problem? Is that something which is actually troubling that person? Can I help that person? Can I help my student? So if I understand that emotion, that's what we call as empathy, right? I am empathizing with others. And this fourth final core skill is, I'm not only empathizing, I'm also managing others' emotion. This is kind of tricky. All right, I can manage my emotions, it's within me, right? How will I manage others' emotions? How will I manage others' emotion? As simple as if in a husband and wife fight, right? People fight, and usually if two of them start shouting, right, that will be a disaster. If one starts and one keeps quiet, right? What are you doing? It's not just the reaction, it is also you're managing that person's emotion. If you see, you keep quiet for a longer period, 2, 3 arguments, no answer is being told, and the other person will tone down their voice, right? Will say calm, and they will, okay, there's no use. Now I have to change the other strategy, right? So it is your reaction, your way of dealing with others that can actually put their emotion into control, right? So this is what the core tenets of emotional intelligence. It's not just my emotion, my management. It is understanding others' emotion and others' emotional management also, right? So these are the 4 core skills of emotional intelligence. Now I'll give you some real life examples. I'm sure you all have experienced this. Say, for example, today we have this chat GPT and all, right? So whenever student get access to it, they take their system, they take their mobile phones, and whenever you teach something, this fellow will put that in the chat GPT or Google or whatever, and he will say, sir, what you are saying is wrong, right? This is not right. Or he will come up with some kind of questions, right? There are some certain students, they will prepare the previous day with questions to put the teachers off, right? So those are people, like certain people are genuinely interested to understand. There are certain people, certain students who are mischievous, right, who are naughty, and they also put us in a stressful situation. So let's say a student challenges you publicly, right? I know I have had an experience of this. How? Because in one of the institution I worked, right? I deal with a set of people who clear CAT examination with a lot of 90-95 percentile, and uh, supposedly the intelligent cohort, right? But this fellow was, I was talking about diversity and dual career couples, where both husband and wife goes for earning. Nowadays, that has to be done, right? If we have to manage a household, it is a responsibility or both the partners to contribute, right? That way, it will be smooth. So I was telling that this is a era where we have both husband and wife going, and how they manage the household work, etc. And this person, I think he's from a conservative society, so he started saying, historically, right, men are meant to earn and women are meant to look after the house, right? Why are you reversing the role? Why a woman should go out, study, do work, right? So being a woman there, of course, I was kind of emotionally taken back, that why is this person, he's supposedly an educated fellow here, but education and common sense are two different things. So that fellow was asking this. As a faculty, I cannot say you shut up and I cannot answer your question. That shows I'm weak in my emotions, right? I'm weak in emotional intelligence. I have to tactfully answer that question, right? At the same time, make him understand that this is not the right way of thinking, right? So I gave him, I was very polite. I gave him, see, this is not how we have to think. And every other student also started laughing, clapping hands, etc. So it is like kind of an embarrassment for a teacher there, right? Because she cannot shout back, she cannot say, please keep quiet. Then everybody will start saying, oh, she cannot handle this question well. These kind of things can happen to us. But how do we analyze this? So I'll also tell you some tips of handling it, but I'm just putting some questions here or real life examples where we will also be challenged emotionally, right? Or what will be our first reaction? For my first reaction, I was kind of taken back. I was thinking, what is this person, right? I could not even imagine for a second that this person is doing or asking this question. Why a man should, why a man's job should be interfered with a women's job? Why a woman has to go out and read and do all this? They are the troublemakers. Why can't they look at the home? So these are some of the comments he was making. So it was really annoying for us to hear that. And let's say this is of one scenario. You also have other stakeholders, right? You will talk with your boss, your director, registrar, etc. Or it can be your faculty colleague, right? Who will be sitting next to you, your area, or in the other department. Let's assume you have a meeting and they are actually putting your, let's say you have done a very good work, right? Very good PPT, and you are really proud of doing that in a meeting. And there is one senior professor, right? He's sitting and asking, what have you done, man? This is not at all appreciated. This is not, do you think that this will work, right? So you feel really bad about it. And he's a senior professor. Now you cannot say that, sir, this is how it is done. You have to answer him very politely, very emotionally stable. Sometimes people, when they are emotionally challenged, I see, even though they speak, right, they speak with a tone that it reflects he is in anger, right? This is one thing. And the other thing is, if you scold somebody, if they are in an emotionally charged situation, they start crying, right? So all of these shows that you are really weak in emotional intelligence. And that's exactly why we say, we think we are good in emotions, we can manage emotion, but in reality we still have to improve a lot in that. Because in a professional setting, we may be challenged by any kind of situation. Not every time you will have a situation where you can go back to your room, relax, and then calm yourself and then go and react to it. In many situations, you have to give back to that person on that go. So how do you manage it? How do you manage your emotions? And also, when they criticize you or criticize your work, you also have, we all have a tendency to take it personally. He has told me, right? He might have said something in the slide, but generally we say, he has said something to me, not on the slide, right? So we tend to overlap our work with our identity. So that also creates a lot of confusion. So this is why we say emotional intelligence, right? People, they respond, they don't react. Meaning, they think, they, oh, I am being asked this person is doing this to trigger me, so should I do it, should I not do it, how do I respond? All of that has to happen in fraction of seconds. That's why we say it's emotional intelligence. It's not that you sit back, relax, and then you say, oh, give me 5 minutes, I'll come back, right? Okay, there is a 5 minutes rule also, but not every situation 5 minutes applies, right? You need to give a response to the person. So that is why it is important. And professional excellence is tested not in the smooth classes, but in the difficult moments. If it is very much smooth, everybody is good with you, everybody is interacting with you very nicely, what is the big deal, right? You can say, I'm good in managing emotions, but the real challenge comes when you are challenged, right? When you are challenged with these difficult situations, when somebody is asking a question, right? I see in one of the political thing, I don't remember, recall that person's name, political leader, but he's very, very famous person. I think Indian representative. Sorry. So that person. Sorry, Praveen, are you asking anything to me? Okay. So I was saying, this person in a public meeting, right? In a public meeting, a lady was asking a question, and that question was something about, what did you do for us, right? We are an immigrants here. What did you do for us? So he was answering that, but this lady was saying, oh, that is all something which you are just saying for the sake of saying, but you have not done anything, right? So that is how she's interacting. And then he was kind of taken back. And then after a while, this lady is continuing the second question. They said, my second question to you is, karke. Then that person is saying, sorry, I'm not answering that question, which is really a bad way of response, which means you have not taken the criticism. She has asked you something, right? So you are not happy about that question and you have taken back, and therefore you are saying, sorry, I will not. You insulted me, I am insulting you back. So this is not a real emotional intelligence. Even if people are bad at you, you should know how intelligently handle them. That's why we call it as emotional intelligence. When we actually have kind of intelligence, right? Emotional aspect, your intelligence is kind of going down. So when you are emotionally challenged, you don't think and respond, right? You just do it as a fraction of a second. So that's where we go wrong. And that's why we have to say that emotional intelligence is important. Let's say some of the personal experience of mine and for faculty in general. Let's say a faculty member, again, I want you to respond here in the chat box, whether you have done it or not. Okay, yes, no type. So a faculty member once shared that she received an upsetting personal news before the class. She still entered the class, smiled and thought for 2 hours, not because she wasn't affected, but because she felt responsible for her students' stability, right? Meaning you have got some kind of personal news or a bad news. You have a class to start at 10:30. You are getting this news at 10:20. You just have 10 minutes. 10 minutes is a good enough time to go into the classroom to prepare, putting your slides into the computer and setting the presentation, right? You have only this much time left. It is really a bad news. End of the day, you cannot cancel, right? Let's assume you cannot cancel this class. So you need to handle it. Have you done this? Any kind of experience? Yes, no. I'm sure you might have done. As faculty people, we do this, right? So have you done it? Have you done it? Kindly respond. You can even unmute and speak to me.
Madam, good afternoon, madam.
Hi, Jay Prakash ji. Tell me.
This is Jay Prakash. I'm from SAVD College, madam.
Hi.
It is a very excellent and real-time question also. Actually, it's very difficult to answer it, but we have faced many situations like this. But sometimes, actually, my practical experience, I share you. I can't take the class immediately. Exactly the time 10:30 because we should start our class by 10:30. It will take 10 more minutes extra to make it to be normal.
Okay.
And we'll try to take the class as much as possible to convey and reach to every student. So this is what I have practiced.
Okay.
So when you have a same kind of experience I have faced, so I did this.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I can't start immediately. It'll take some time. I can take 10 more minutes to realize that okay, this cannot be changed again. Okay, we need to face this and just have a internal talk. Have a small internal talk. Then we can okay, we'll just move on this. Anyway, life is just keep moving. So we just understand it and we just start the class a little bit late. Maybe probably or 10:45 or something later, but we start. But the output was is not much effective, but it's anyway we have done the work.
Okay, good. People, I also thank you so much, sir, Jaiprakash ji. Thank you so much for sharing your.
Yes, madam.
I would also appreciate if others to speak. You can speak to me in English, Tamil, Hindi, whichever language you prefer to. I can speak those languages. So whichever language you feel comfortable, let's speak. Let's have a learning experience. Let's not be like a typical online class where we ask the students and students don't respond, right? So let's not have that kind of session. Okay. So this is one thing, as he was Jaiprakash sir also was mentioning. We all have this kind of situation, right? I will tell you my own experience of a conference presentation which happened. Um, this happened way back in 2013 or so, where I was about to present my paper in Australia for one of my conference, and I went there. I didn't have much time, so I went in Air India, and then my baggage belt, right? They announced the baggage belt, so I went to that place. Baggage belt was there, and everybody had taken their baggage, but I didn't find my baggage. So I had all my clothes, everything, right? The clothes except for the one which I'm wearing, I had everything there only in that. I had nothing else in my laptop bag, except for the laptop, etc., and everything else was there. So this was the situation. My presentation, for my presentation I need clothes, my baggage is lost, and also that's the country where you need to have some kind of help, right? And this is one of my experience where I have never experienced baggage lost, so I don't know what to do. So I was looking for people, searching. Finally I could find somebody, and they said like there's a transfer which happened, right? Delhi, and from Delhi to this place, Chennai, Delhi, and then Delhi to Melbourne. So because of that, that transfer of luggage could have not happened, right? Therefore, it has stuck in Delhi. So I don't have any clothes. I have to go and do my conference presentation. I was so eagerly waiting for this conference presentation. So luckily, I could manage through some contact. I could manage a friend's of friend, somebody's home, where I could borrow her clothes and I can wear it for my conference. And I went. You see, a lot of emotional trauma was happening to me. One is new country, my baggage lost. I was having everything inside in that bag. I was not knowing how I will be handling the stay there, how I'll be going back, etc. And on the top of it, the day for why I arrived there is for conference presentation, so I have to do it. So I went there, and I was talking about my experience. What I did is, uh, I kind of that time I was like little upset, and then I was thinking, see, this 15-20 minutes is the exact timing for which I flew so many kilometers from India, right? And if I lose this 15-20 minutes, I'm not going to get this back. And whatever I do, I should do my best. Any external thing which is kind of affecting me should have to take a seat back now. Now I cannot think about it. I have to think only about my presentation. So believe it or not, I did the presentation, and that particular acting, right? We generally say we feel something, we show something. And that is exactly what we call as a word called emotional labor, right? Emotional labor, meaning I am, like the picture says, I'm internally really upset, really in a bad shape. But externally, I put a hat of a smile. I'll say I'm okay. And teachers does that, like customer call executives, right? They have to call every time, and you sometimes you feel irritated, will put down the phone, and still they have to make the other call. They cannot sit and cry. They have to make, because that is their job. They have to make this call. And like a hotel, right? You have to talk to the customer. They have to, like this, educators like us, we also have to have a lot of management of emotions in front of a student. Irrespective of whatever I feel, I have to always show my good self there, right? I have to, because I am a role model for many of them sitting there. I cannot show my emotions, I cannot be upset, I cannot be unprofessional in front of them. So this acting is what in psychology we call as emotional labor. And believe it or not, that is my thesis topic: emotional labor and emotional intelligence. And that's why I said this topic is very close to my heart, because I got my doctorate on this particular topic. So, this is exactly the topic which I presented in the conference. And when I was explaining emotional labor, and there was one of the presenter who was asking me, what exactly is emotional labor? I don't understand, right? So I was telling, see, in the morning I came, I lost my baggage, and this happened, and I'm standing in front of you. And irrespective of all my emotions, all my bad day and bad emotions, I'm still happily standing in front of you and giving the presentation. This is exactly what is called as emotional labor, which is what I'm practicing. So when I said that, people were really appreciating because they were connecting the concept, right? And I got the best paper award. One of the best paper award which I got is in this conference for that particular paper. So my 15 minutes, I made it worthy. I managed my emotion. I showed my maximum emotional intelligence there. I could bag my conference presentation with the best paper award. And 2 days after this, I got my baggage, right? So if I have lost the baggage, and if I have cribbed, and I have not performed well in my presentation, my entire trip would have been like a disaster. But I was just segregating. Okay, this has happened. Now I cannot do anything about it. Unless otherwise the official says that your baggage is found, I cannot do anything about it. So why should I lose my opportunity here? So I need to concentrate on that. So the segregation is something which is very, very important. This is exactly what we call as emotional intelligence. Am I able to see it differently, and am I able to differently react to it, right? So that is emotional intelligence. The connection between emotional intelligence and emotional labor, as educators, we all do this acting, right? Every time, every day and day in, we do acting. For example, I'll say, I am acting now in front of you. Why I say that? Because let's say I'm fasting, I do not have much energy, but you cannot capture it the way I'm speaking to you, because I know that this 45 minutes I am going to engage with a lot of educators who are eagerly waiting for this particular session. So I have a bigger responsibility, right? I cannot say, oh, I'm tired. I just traveled. I didn't sleep the last night. All of that should be aside. After this, I can go and okay, I can take my rest. But today, this time, I have to be in my good self. So this acting is what we do as educators, not just here in lectures, in the meetings, in the professional life, in everywhere, right? So this is what we call as emotional labor. And to do that, emotional intelligence is very, very important, right? To know about that. So some of the practical tips I would like to give. Take 5-second pause rule. Many times we have an instant reaction, right? If we have to say something, we just instantly react. Instead of that, take a pause, and then you react, and then separate the person from behavior. If you see somebody is behaving right, not in a good way, right? Don't say that this person itself is wrong, this person itself is bad. Segregate the behavior and the person. See, okay, this is one point in time he has behaved or she has behaved this way. Let's not assume that this person itself is bad, right? So if you do that, then what you will do is you will not talk to that person. You will just alienate. You will hate that person. Don't do that. If one or two behavior is not good, or if it is a student, if they are not good, don't say, don't label them as bad student, right? If nobody is a bad person or a bad student, maybe that behavior is something you as a personal mentor to them, you have to course correct it, right? That you can do. Don't send emotional emails. Many times even in LinkedIn or in emails, whenever you get emails, right, we responded to them with a lot of emotions. Again, take some pause. Should I respond? Do I have to respond now? Is this necessary, right? Take a pause and then do it. And reflection after difficult days, this is important. When you have a very bad day or a bad situation happen, and you reacted in some way, don't just try to forget it, right? They say, right, you just forget about it. Rather reflect upon, okay, that day is bad, I did this, what I could have done better. That self reflection is important. Only then you can improve. If you just say, oh, I am forgetting, I'm just ignoring, you will not learn anything from there. So we need to reflect upon that, difficult days, and we need to learn from that. So these are some of the practical tips to improve your emotional intelligence. Some of my closing thoughts before I ask you to ask questions. We prepare lectures, we prepare assignments, we evaluate it, we publish a lot of research. What is important for us is we every day in and day out manage emotions. Without emotions, nothing is there, right? Lot of investment decision. Let's take gold rate, right? You might have purchased gold rate, or you might have paid the gold rate, let's say 12,000 or 14,000 today. Next day you are saying it has dropped to 13,000. We feel emotionally challenged. Oh, I paid 1,000 rupees extra yesterday. So every day, every situation, everything teaches us how do we manage emotion. With emotions, how do we make decisions, and how we can make a good professional excellence. In today's educational system, subject matter expertise, it's very, very important. But what makes us exceptional person is emotional intelligence. So students may forget what you thought, colleagues may forget what the meetings are, interaction are, but they will never forget how you made them feel, right? So that is very, very important. So this is why we say we need emotional intelligence. We need to show our professional excellence. So these are some of the scales. I would like you to take 1 or 2 minutes, just see in this each scale, reflect upon 1 to 5. I remain calm during conflict. Are you a person? If you are a person, say 5. If you are not a person, say 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever you feel like. This is just for your own awareness. You can take a snapshot of this scale items. It's just few scales. Take a snapshot of it. Do it personally whenever you have time. See for how many questions you have given 5, how many you have given 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. Think about it. There's no right and wrong answer. Here you don't have to score high. It's just a reflection for yourself. It's an awareness. Am I in a right EQ or not? Right? There are a lot of scales, but given the time constraint, I'm not bringing the scale here, but I'm just showing some of the scale items. Thank you very much for all those who have interacted with me so far. And I also want to hear some of the questions from you. So let me hear your thoughts and questions.
Madam, again, this is Prakash Narayanan.
Yes.
Madam, actually, thank you so much for the mind awakening presentations, madam. I think this 1 hour, I think changed a lot. I think I'm giving assurance and reflection actually. So thank you so much. It's changed a lot. Definitely is improved. But actually, my question is for this for you.
Sure.
Nowadays, the people are multitasking.
Correct.
So initially, because we do one activity and at a time, but now we need to perform in a multitask in a fraction of time.
Correct.
So I think this made me we cannot apply all this theory or applicable in practicability, right?
No.
So can you suggest
Even in,
how to just give suggestions how to handle in the condition of multitasking and time scheduling.
Okay, I'll give you the answer. But I would also like to know from others, is there anybody who doesn't understand Tamil? Anybody from Hindi speaking? Okay, nobody. Okay, right. Okay. Hindi speaking, Kalpesh? I think yes. Okay, right. Then okay, very good. So then I'll restrict myself to English only. So let's say multitasking. One analogy I can think is about driving. Right? We all know driving, and if you just recall when you have started learning driving, we all go to a driving school, and then we say accelerator, brake, and clutch. Right? So they say right A, B, C, and they teach us what to do. And initially, you just recall, you might have not done everything at one go, right? Sometimes we press brake where we have to press the accelerator. Sometimes we forget to press the clutch for a gear change, etc. So a lot of things will happen in this. But if you just recall now, you are kind of very, very confident and thorough in driving. Sometimes you just don't know how you drove all the way, right? You might have changed it, you might have drove, you might have reduced the speed, increased the speed, then you are in the destination. This is a multitasking exercise. Why today I'm just sharing that in our own scenario of educating people, where we have to prepare, where we have to take care of our family, where we have to do research, meetings, admin work, etc. This emotional intelligence is purely a application here, where every scenario, if you practice, say initially you will not have that, but if you say, okay, am I correctly doing it, am I managing it correctly, right? If I manage it rightly in every scenario, be conscious about it, and over the time, like you learned driving, now you will not say A, B, C, right? You will just automatically do. Likewise, over the time, this emotional intelligence will help you navigate situation. Like today, you will have a bad news. Within 5 minutes, you'll go and happily deliver a lecture. And after that, you come and shout with somebody else. So all of that can happen very, very sequentially without any issues. So I'm sure with practice, you can do this multitasking. So emotional intelligence, very much helpful there.
Madam, excellent, excellent. Madam. I think you made a very clear. So it's required all of practice.
Yes.
Fantastic example, madam. Really
Thank
amazing.
you.
Thank you so much, madam. Madam, at the end of the PPT, can you share me the phone number or mail, if you don't mind?
Sure. Sure. I'll
Thank
put
you
it
so
in
much.
the chat.
Thank you. Thank you so much, madam. Nice examples, madam.
Thank you. And I also have some kind of questions here in the chat box. One is, what role does emotional intelligence play in resolving conflict within the academic institution? Again, in resolving conflict, like Dr. Yuvraj has asked me, conflict again is a place where we react, right? See, conflict is another area of interest. I'll always say conflict is nothing but a disagreement, right? It can be I say something, you disagree with me, that is also a conflict, right? It's not necessary conflict is jagda, right? Or you just start fighting. So it's not necessary that, but if you have a better emotions, right? Again, as I said in my one of the tips, where I said segregate the person and the behavior. If there is a conflicting situation, do not say the person is doing it, just see the behavior, right? And if you can manage that, right, you can segregate that and see, okay, this person's behavior is this, should I react this way, right? Then emotional intelligence plays a crucial role, because one of the core skill in emotional intelligence is understanding others and understanding others' emotions, right? So, of course, it does play a greater role in resolving conflict, not just in academic institution. You can try this even in your personal life, professional life, anywhere, right? It will help. And coming to the next question, which profession needs more emotional intelligence? Very good question. But I would say every human being needs emotional intelligence. Okay. As we are not, we are human beings, we are emotional beings. Everybody, every now and then, it's you take anything, right? You talk to your spouse, you talk to your mother, you talk to your sibling, emotions are involved. You talk to your students, you talk to your teachers, emotions are involved. You talk to doctor, lawyer, right? Emotions are involved. You talk to policeman, emotions are involved. You talk to anybody, emotions are involved. So every profession will need emotional intelligence. In other words, every human will have emotions, therefore emotional intelligence is required, very much required. That is what makes us differentiated with the animals, right? We can handle emotions better. So that is for that question. Hello, ma'am. What practical strategies can educators use to manage emotional fatigue while staying empathetic towards students? Wonderful question. Practical strategies. I have heard people saying to me that for if you are emotionally challenged and if you want to do something, why don't you go and do yoga and meditation, breathing exercise, calm music, walking? You believe it or not, this actually works, right? So I every now and then, I used to be a educator, like a teacher, where people write to me, she doesn't have humanity, right? That's what they say to me, because I will be very strict, to the extent that once I am inside the classroom, doors are closed. Nobody should enter, nobody should exit, right? No matter what, let it be any emergency, you should not exit my class. I was like that. I was like that. Then I slowly realized this is just pressurizing students. It's putting pressure on me. And I went to the doctor and they were saying, are you in IT, madam? And then I said, no, no, I am in educational field. Then they said, oh, your stress level has gone so much that you need to now take rest. So now nerves issue, everything came to me. And then I started practicing yoga, breathing exercise, meditation, and that really helped. And you also, when you practice this, you will not feel that emotional agitation. You will know that there is an emotional challenge, but you will not have any physiological reaction. You'll be very calm. You by nature you'll become calm, right? And it has changed my personality. Therefore I can watch that, yes, this can help, right? So try meditation, yoga, and breathing exercise. That can actually bring down your emotional fatigue. Do you suggest educator handle emotionally challenging interaction with parents? Obviously, sir. Uh, we need to see parents again. They are also in a stage where they have to manage their kids, and they have to. They also have a lot of issues with why my kid is not studying. They invest a lot of money. You just think from being a parent, right? You being a parent, you interacting with the parent, and then you think yourself as a parent, and will I have the same issues, right, when I go and speak to the teacher of my kids, right? That's exactly why they are behaving so, whatever they are like. Sometimes they are emotionally, they will trigger us. So we need to handle them emotionally, and that is also our responsibility, right? So we need to. How can emotional intelligence be assessed and evaluated? Yeah, we have a lot of scales, madam, or whoever has asked. We have a lot of scales. We have Daniel Goleman scale. We have other authors. Myers scale is there. We have a lot of scales in emotional intelligence which are given by psychologists. So we can use them to assess the emotional intelligence. Had it been like little more lengthier period, or if it is an in-person thing, I would have definitely employed a assessment tool for you and make you understand your own emotional score, emotional intelligence score. Then you can see yourself how much you score in the emotional quotient, right? There are scales for it. As a teacher, how we can promote or improve? Are we having time? Can I answer all the questions?
Yes,
Again,
ma'am. Yes.
yeah. As a teacher, how we can promote or improve emotional intelligence of students? Again, there are emotional intelligence training. One of the key things which students they don't know is they don't know how to know their emotions. That's all. So like we said, emotional intelligence first step is to know about your emotions. So make them aware. Some training program, some kind of teaching sessions. You can also have one small workshop in emotional intelligence. You can give them role plays, right? Make them do a role of a teacher versus a student. Then they will understand what emotions a student is undergoing, what emotion a teacher is undergoing, right? So make them aware, make them play the role, then they will be understanding. So we can do these kind of pedagogy to make them know about it. How can technology be used to promote? Of course, technology by simulations. We have simulations. We have case methodologies. We have video based learning, right? I also saw a lot of videos for you to be shown. Then I realized we only have short time. Let's not do it with video. Then maybe some other time when we have a chance. uh, you can do video based, you can do case based, you can do simulation based, where you put themselves in that particular protagonist, and then you can train them, right? So that way technology will help us. How do you tackle to student behavior when they show frustration? That's again, sir, like we need to acknowledge them, and then sometimes I'm saying you need to just ignore that for particular student for a while, continue your class, finish it off, and then call that person individually and ask why that person is really frustrated, right? If he is he may really have some problem, right? We do not know. So as a teacher, we also have that responsibility to know what it is. If he has a behavioral problem, let's say he has an attitude problem, behavioral problem, again it's our responsibility to send him to counseling, right? So that way we can, I'm just giving some kind of tips. It's not the entire answer, but I'm just kind of trying to answer all of that. I think that's the end of the question. So anything else, or can I close it?
Thank you, ma'am, for your insightful address and sharing your expertise with us. Now I invite Dr. R. Sujata, Assistant Professor, Department of Biotechnology, to deliver the closing remarks for today's session.
Respected Dr. Shami ma'am, we are grateful for such an insightful session on emotional intelligence and its significance in our professional lives as educators. Dr. Shami ma'am's comprehensive exploration of emotional intelligence has provided practical frameworks that we can integrate into our teaching practice. Ma'am's expertise from reputed institutes has given us a clear understanding between emotional competence and professional excellence that resonates with the challenges and opportunities we face in educational settings. The key takeaways from ma'am's session are: teaching is not only intellectual work, it is an emotional work. It is important to be aware of our emotional ability. The core skills of emotional intelligence is self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, and social skills. In an emotionally pressing situation, we need to remember our core purpose. She compared when stay composed when stressed, support students on hard day, encourage even when exhausted. She gave us some practical tools for emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is built by practice. Dr. Shami ma'am, we are deeply grateful for your expertise, time, and commitment to our professional development program. Your presentation has equipped us with valuable framework and inspired us to pursue excellence, not only in our subject expertise, but in our capacity for emotional wisdom and interpersonal effectiveness. The best teachers are those who show you where to look, but don't tell you what to see. Today, Dr. Shami ma'am has shown us where to look into our own emotional landscapes and that of our students. Thank you all for your active participation and engagement. Thank you once again.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I invite Dr. K. Ravikumar, Associate Professor, Department of Management Studies, to deliver the thanks note and share his appreciation.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. I sincerely thank you, ma'am, for enriching our faculty development program. On behalf of our organizing committee, I thank you once again, ma'am. Your session was very impressive and impactful, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us. Thank you all the participants.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
I have also shared the PPT here in the chat. For people who want it, you can download it and use it. And I have also written my email ID. If you have any discussion made, you can write to me.
Sure, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, participants, for your active engagement. Please do fill out the feedback link shared in the chat box. With that, we conclude today's session. See you all tomorrow. Thank you.
Very good afternoon, organizing team. Can you hear me, madam? Organizing team, can you hear me? So kindly share the PPT. Anybody is there in the organizing team?